Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Off-Farm Income Podcast. Thank you very much for joining us here today on our YouTube channel for episode number 907. Well, today we get to profile a National Star Finalist in the category of Agriscience research. We're going to be speaking with Nicole Stevens, coming to us from Yukon High School in Yukon, Oklahoma. And you are not going to believe how many different supervised agricultural experiences and agriscience research projects she has conducted over the course of her time in the FFA. We're going to get her introduced to you right now. Nicole, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on today.
Thank you for having me.
You bet. It is my pleasure to speak with you, and I want to say congratulations on your nomination for National Star. That's quite an honor.
Well, thank you.
You bet. Now, I was just researching because I do my research, and I noticed that I interviewed a young man named Tanner Stevens in 2019 from your same high school who said he'd been preceded by his three sisters in the FFA. So you've got to be one of those, right?
Yes, that's my little brother.
That's your little brother. Well, I'm glad to speak with you as well. I noted that in the title for his episode, the fact that he had been preceded by so many successful people in the FFA, and of course you're on that list. So that's great. Well, so tell us about you. You're at Oklahoma State now?
Yes, sir. I am pursuing my master's in agricultural education. Hopefully, I'm graduating this upcoming May.
Oh, well, that's awesome. Congratulations. That's wonderful. So are you a fourth-year senior then?
I graduated with my bachelor's in 3 years this previous May.
Sorry. That shows you what kind of listener I am. You just said your master's. Okay, so you got your master's. So when I interviewed Tanner, he talked, did I get that right? 3 sisters that had preceded him?
2. He's the third.
He's the third. Okay. So 2, and then both you and is it your younger or your older sister?
My older.
And both of you were chapter presidents, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Oh, very cool. Okay. So you're finishing your master's already. My goodness. Okay. And what's that going to be in ag education?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then your bachelor's was in what?
Agricultural education as well.
Ag education. Very cool. Okay, so we're gonna loop back around here to your SAE and what you're up for with Agriscience here in a second, but I want to ask you more about your master's degree. So, bachelor's and master's, are you planning on heading into the classroom, or do you have something else in mind when it comes to ag ed?
So I would love to get my PhD in ag ed. As a requirement, we have to go teach in a high school setting for 3 years. We can choose to teach for longer, or we could choose to just stop at 3 years. So I would love to get some experience in that high school setting, and then when I'm a little bit older, move into the college setting.
Interesting. So it's Oklahoma State's requirement that if you're going to get the PhD in ag ed, you have to have 3 years of practical application in the high school classroom. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. It's really hard to teach other people how to teach if you don't have teaching experience.
Okay, very good. Now, so does that mean that when you finish your master's this May, you're going to be hoping to find yourself in a classroom in the fall of 2021?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so with you going through and getting your bachelor's and then getting your master's, did you do student teaching and become certified in all of that while getting your bachelor's degree?
Yes, sir. I student taught this past spring when COVID hit.
Well, that's an interesting time to student teach. Okay. Wow. So were you taking classes in your master's degree while you were student teaching?
I took 4 credits worth the fall before I student taught, but I'm currently in 17 hours right now. And then I intend to take a pretty hefty load next semester too.
Yeah, I would say, man, you're busting that master's degree out. Good for you. I did mine in, I think, like 5 years, but I was doing it part-time at night. Now, are you doing a thesis or a project or something like that?
I am doing a thesis and working on a project with Dr. Rob Terry.
Okay, so what's the thesis going to be about?
Hopefully, it's going to be about different health aspects and how that impacts ag ed teachers and their longevity within the career.
Oh, interesting. So are you going to be looking at like stress and things like that and the long hours that ag teachers put in, all that type of stuff?
For sure. That along with the physical aspect, being in the shop, ag mechanics, working with livestock, there's a lot of physical health issues or just risks. So.
Yeah, you're right. Compared to, I would say, a typical high school teacher, an ag teacher is dealing with a more precarious workplace, I guess.
For sure.
Oh, very interesting. Okay. All right. Well, I love this time of year because I get to interview as many of the star finalists that will come onto the show. And I always like to delve into that. So when did you begin your journey in the FFA?
I began my journey officially when I was in the 8th grade. But my dad is my ag teacher. So unofficially, I was able to tag along with him since about the 4th grade.
Okay.
So it's been a while for me.
Wow. Okay. And your older sister, did she achieve heights like you're now achieving, being a national star finalist?
Well, I think so. She was my inspiration going into the FFA and stuff. So seeing her do well at the state Agriscience fair and other aspects like that, in a lot of ways, she was the trial, trying to figure out these contests and stuff. And she ultimately is one of the main reasons for my success, is being able to see what worked for her, what didn't, and having her help me come up with new ways.
That is great. Man, your dad has got to be proud to have all of you achieving so much in the FFA and him being the FFA advisor and the ag teacher.
Well, for sure. We couldn't do it without him either.
That is great. Let's give a shout out to him really quick. What's your dad's name?
Scott Stevens.
Okay, well, thank you for doing that. Nicole, I want to take a quick second to acknowledge a couple of our sponsors. Everybody, of course, I'm going to be talking about Lacrosse Footwear. You can find them over at lacrossefootwear.com. And always love to talk about lacrosse when we do our FFA episodes, just because they're so proud to sponsor the FFA with $25,000 in both jackets and scholarships through the Give the Gift of Blue program every single year. And, man, I am proud to have them as a sponsor just for that reason, not to mention that we use their Alpha Range boots on my farm here in Idaho every single day of the year. We want you to do the same as well. Check out everything they've got to offer you over at lacrossefootwear.com. And then, of course, Powder River Livestock Handling Equipment. There just is no finer large livestock handling equipment, squeeze chutes, runways, sweep tubs, livestock panels than Powder River. And we use them right here on our farm as well. All of our sponsors were products we were using well before they ever became a sponsor of the show. And that's why they are sponsors of the show. Please check them out at powderriver.com. and let your local farm and ranch retailer know that you would like to see Powder River Livestock Handling Equipment out in their sales yard as well. All right. Well, Nicole, let's get back to you. Okay. So you come out of Yukon High School, but you started in 8th grade. So was that a middle school chapter?
Yes. So I've actually been a part of 2 different FFA chapters. I started in Pauls Valley and then transitioned to Yukon my sophomore year of high school. Okay.
So you did a transfer, and as you were going through high school, what did it look like for you? Obviously, you reached the level of being a chapter president. Was that your senior year, your junior year? How did that work?
That was my junior year.
Your junior year.
And then again, my senior year.
And again, okay. And then as far as being an officer, did you end it with that, or did you keep going?
That was about it. My senior year, that was just where I ended. But I was involved in the CFFA in college.
Okay.
I just didn't feel like I had enough time to dedicate myself to that role the way I needed to.
Sure. Okay, now I think that you are the first person I've had on the show who is in their master's program and is still as active as you are in the FFA. So how has that worked when you've gone all the way through your bachelor's degree and now into your master's and you're still involved in the FFA? Does it change anything?
For the most part, I'm still involved because I'm young. I just turned 21, so I'm still under that 21 by January 1st.
Okay.
So that really helps me with more opportunities to be involved.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a lot different from that typical high school experience. Instead of competing, I'm now helping to host those events. helping put together the curriculum and stuff like that. So it's a kind of a different role to play.
Yeah, very cool. Good for you. And now Agriscience is the category that you're a National Star Finalist in. And when we did the pre-interview and I asked you what the title of your essay is, you said, there's no way I can answer that. Why can't you answer that?
So I actually have 22 different projects.
Wow.
I wasn't quite sure how to give a title to that, and that's just within Agriscience. I also had swine, sheep, one set of poultry that I had in college through one of my classes. So it was kind of hard for me to just give one title for it all.
So the way you do that is you write them all out on an individual piece of paper, you put them on the wall, and you throw a dart. And then you just, whatever it hits, whatever it gets closest to. 22 projects, starting when? Starting what year?
In 8th grade.
In 8th grade.
2012, 13-ish.
Okay. And going all the way back to 8th grade. Now, you said you had swine, you had chickens. These 22 projects you're talking about, that's specifically in Agriscience?
Yes, sir.
All research projects?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you list them? Do they just come off your tongue? Can you just ramble them right out?
I can list about half of them.
Okay.
Just based off what I know. My sophomore year, I had 5 projects in itself.
Okay.
But I started out with the effects of magnetism on plant growth, and I just ended with the effects of water restriction in cattle, feed digestibility in cattle, and different state standards and their impact in ag ed. So
unbelievable. How in the world did you find time to do this? Starting in 8th grade. When was your last? So you're still doing them. You still got them going. So we've got longevity here to deal with. We've got 9 years, at least, maybe 10 years of doing this. But still, that's, even if it's 10 years, that's over 2 per year. How do you find time to do that?
Sometimes I skip sleep.
Okay.
Sometimes I think certain caffeine companies should just sponsor me at this point.
I agree.
But I try to find time for the things that I prioritize. School, my livestock, different volunteering opportunities, and Agriscience has always been in that top group for me.
Okay, so which project is it that has led you to be nominated for a National Star?
I'm not sure. I think it's kind of the sum of all of them. For me, Agriscience has just been a stepping stone to becoming a better ag teacher. I didn't just pick a topic and go with it, which for some people that really, really works. And that's really cool that they have such substantial findings. For me, one, I just have way too many interests. 2, I just need to get my feet wet in every aspect of ag ed to be able to feel confident in my teaching of those aspects.
Wow. You know, I coach people on entrepreneurship sometimes, and a common problem of entrepreneurs is that they have so many interests. So many things look like opportunities. And I tell them, look, I understand, but you're going to have to pick one. You're going to have to run with it. But I'm going to change. After this interview, Nicole, I'm just going to tell them, do them all. Just do them all. You don't need to sleep. Just do every one of them. Run 14 businesses. It's fine. It's fine. Wow, that is impressive. Okay, so you've got this coming up. You're going to be going into the classroom soon for 3 years, and then you talked about going and getting the PhD and said you would love to do that. What do you want to do with a PhD in ag education? What appeals to you about that?
I would love to teach and have a research lab at a college campus. Research has just been most of my life, honestly. It's taken up about half of it at this point. So I would love to actually have that as part of my job in the future, and being able to use that in the classroom, use that to inspire future teachers to maybe have better curriculum, better ways of teaching, just try to give back to the ag ed industry.
Wow. Well, you obviously have a natural aptitude towards research. Can you identify what it is inside you that makes you just want to delve in and find things out?
I'm not really sure. I think it was just I was really curious as a kid. I'm not athletic at all. So I found myself in the classroom 90% of the time, just head in a book, staying inside, trying to figure out why things are the way they are. And asking why so many times as a child, sometimes the adults just get tired of it until you go figure it out yourself. And to me, this was my way of figuring out all the whys I had.
Wow. Okay. So when you get to that moment where you're running a research lab in college, because you're going to, it's obvious that's going to happen. Good for you, by the way. When you get to that moment, will you be researching? Because when it comes to teaching, I think of more of social science type of things, but maybe I'm wrong. Would you see yourself researching more scientific principles or more social science and educational type principles?
I believe more on the social science side of things. Most of my ag ed specific projects have been in the social side of things, and that's an area I'm trying to grow in myself, as most of mine were more on the hard number side of things. But if I can implement some of that just to add some of that reliability to my research, I would love to do that too.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. Well, I can't say enough about what you're doing. I wish I had your energy. I wish I had your talent too. My goodness. What's it going to mean? What's it going to mean to UConn High School, to you, to your family, to your dad, if you come home with that National Star Award?
It would mean that our hard work paid off. I mean, we've been doing this for most of my life. I've drugged my siblings into it, my science teachers. I've drugged half of my college into it at this point. Just because we're all so excited about the potential of research and how it can impact the way things are. And anything we can do to improve the world that we live in is just the epitome of research to me. So being able to win this title would mean to be able to honor all those people who put the work in alongside me.
That's great. Wow. When you started this out, was a national star, was that the goal? Has that been something you've been striving for?
As an 8th grader, no. I'll be real honest with you. I was super shy, and I never would have seen myself here today. I was so scared that I tried to make my partner talk on stage at state convention. Anything to get out of speaking. But as I grew older, especially when I hit high school, I saw that the accumulation of it could get me something like this. And at the beginning, State Star was the goal. It was a newer award that we could win, and that's what I wanted. And then from there, I didn't want to hang up my jacket. I just wanted an opportunity to go further, to do more, to still get a hold on to that jacket and those memories. And then the National Star became our goal.
That is great. Good for you. Well, man, I don't know how it's all going to turn out. I would say your chances have to be unbelievably high. But no matter what happens, there are over 700,000 students in the FFA, and you've been picked as one of the top 4 in the entire country. It's pretty incredible.
It's mind-blowing.
That is great. Well, let's leave it with this, Nicole. What advice do you have for that up-and-coming 8th grader out there who's inquisitive, they like to do research, and they're wondering if they can get it all done? What would you tell them if they asked you?
I would say just try it. It doesn't have to be some crazy experiment to start out with. You don't have to make your own biodiesel or something super sciencey. I started by burying magnets in a playing pot. You can go as small or as big as you want, but don't let yourself be put into one small category. Just try to do as much as you can and get every opportunity that you can.
That's great. Well, best of luck to you. I cannot wait to find out the results, and great to meet you. And you'll have to tell your brother hi for me as well.
I will do. It's great to meet you too.
Well, thank you for being here, everybody. Thank you to Nicole Stevens for coming on the Off-Farm Income Podcast today and sharing all that great information with us. And as always, enjoy your journey to the ultimate lifestyle business, agriculture.